Archangel Michael commands. Heaven has opened a portal of wealth and blessings over your life. If you ignore this message now, the angels will move on without delivering your reward. My radiant soul, listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you carries the sound of heaven itself. Last night, as the world slept in silence, a divine gate shimmered open in the unseen realm, and Archangel Michael stood before it. His sword glowed brighter than 10,000 suns, and from his voice came a command that shook the spirit world. The portal of wealth and blessings is open, but only for those who hear and respond. What if I told you that your name was spoken in that decree? That the light shining through that heavenly gate carries a message with your spirit code written on it? You see, this isn't just another message you scroll past. This is your divine invitation, one that appears only when heaven aligns its clock with your destiny. For years, the angels have been watching your journey, your struggles, your tears, your moments of silence where you whispered, "God, when will it be my turn?" And tonight, the answer resounds, now. Heaven has opened. The wait is over. But here's what most people don't realize. When a heavenly portal opens, it doesn't stay open forever. The spiritual law is movement. If you don't receive what is sent, the angels move on to the next chosen vessel. This is why Archangel Michael's voice carried urgency, not fear, but divine timing. He said, "Tell them to act before the oil lifts." This oil is the flow of favor, invisible yet powerful. It's the reason some people suddenly rise without explanation, while others watch in confusion. That oil is moving now. And the question is, will it rest upon you, or will it pass you by? In the realm of spirit, opportunity doesn't knock, it descends. And right now, that descent is happening. Financial chains are breaking, unseen barriers are collapsing, and angelic scribes are marking those who believe. Heaven is scanning hearts, not wallets. It's looking for faith. Because faith is the only currency that can unlock divine wealth. But let's go deeper. Archangel Michael didn't just announce prosperity. He declared transfer. Yes, transfer, the movement of wealth from the hands of the unjust to the hands of the righteous. For centuries, it's been written that there would be a great exchange, where those who have mocked God's timing will watch as His chosen rise in radiant glory. That time is unfolding. And if you've ever felt like you've been delayed, overlooked, or under attack, it's because the enemy saw this day coming. He tried to distract you before your name could be called in heaven's registry of reward. But he failed, because you're here, listening now. That means the message found you in time. Hold on, because what I reveal next will explain exactly how this portal works, and why only a few will actually receive what heaven is pouring out right now. Trust me, you'll want to hear this next revelation. My beloved listener, picture this moment in your spirit. Above you, an immense gateway of light, wider than oceans and brighter than stars. Through it flows waves of golden radiance, shimmering like living rivers. This is not imagination. This is what Archangel Michael revealed to the chosen. When heaven opens a portal, it is not a vision for poets. It is a divine transaction point where spiritual promises become physical manifestations. Every blessing that was delayed, every harvest that seemed lost, begins to flow again. But this portal has a law. Only faith can open your hands to receive what has already been released. Archangel Michael spoke words that pierce through realms. Tell them that divine wealth is not something they earn. It's something they align with. The angels are not bringing money. They are bringing mantles, spiritual authority that causes resources to locate you. True prosperity begins in your spirit, then manifests through favor, opportunity, and divine connection. You don't chase wealth. Wealth recognizes the divine mark upon your soul, and chases you. This is why, in seasons when you felt forgotten, heaven was actually preparing your spirit to handle what is coming now. You must understand something very important. Divine wealth is not the same as worldly riches. Worldly wealth is gathered by striving and competition. Divine wealth flows through obedience and alignment. When heaven's gate opens, the question is not how much can I get, but how much can I carry without losing my heart. That's why the angels search hearts before they deliver blessings. They are not assessing worthiness. They are searching for readiness. The moment your spirit comes into agreement with heaven's will, the flow begins. This is the reason so many people feel a sudden stirring in their spirit lately, an unexplainable sense that something major is shifting. It's not coincidence. It's a sign that your atmosphere is changing. God is aligning your name with opportunity. The same angels who stood by Jacob's ladder now stand by your destiny, holding scrolls with instructions written in light. These scrolls contain strategies, divine ideas, and open doors that will lead to financial and spiritual restoration. They were never meant to live in lack. The God who clothed lilies and fed sparrows has not forgotten you. But there's a warning, and Archangel Michael's tone carried both love and gravity. He said, "Those who treat this moment as ordinary will miss what is extraordinary. Many will hear, few will respond, and only those who act will see the manifestation." The portal is not a myth. It is a moment of divine intersection. Every major blessing in Scripture came through moments like this, when heaven met earth and someone dared to believe. Mary believed and birthed a miracle. Abraham believed and inherited nations. This same faith is what the angels are looking for in you right now. If your spirit feels stirred as you hear these words, that is the confirmation. The portal is not distant. It's here, right where you are. The presence you feel is evidence that heaven has recognized your heart posture. But this is only the beginning. What happens next will show you how to move from recognition to possession, how to receive what was written for you before time began. Wait for it. What you're about to hear next could change how you see divine provision forever. My chosen friend, imagine this moment as the turning of a divine key. Archangel Michael stood upon a sea of glass and declared, "The time for silent waiting is over. The era of release has begun." When he spoke those words, ripples of energy spread through the heavens like sound waves through water. Each ripple carried codes of blessing, each one designed for a specific person, those whose faith has endured storms and silence. These aren't ordinary blessings. They are generational reversals. What your ancestors prayed for, but never saw, heaven has reserved for this hour. You are the bridge between their prayers and their fulfillment. The angel continued, "Tell them to lift their hands, for what was locked by fear will now be open by surrender." That is the key. Surrender, not striving. When you release control, heaven releases abundance. The very moment you stop chasing outcomes and start trusting divine timing, you align yourself with heaven's frequency. That is where miracles begin to happen, not because you forced them, but because you became a vessel through which they could flow. Divine wealth, in its purest form, is not only about material prosperity, it is about influence, peace, and divine authority flowing through you to others. Have you noticed that some people seem to attract favor wherever they go? That's because they operate under open heaven. When they step into a room, unseen angels go before them, rearranging outcomes, whispering their names into the hearts of those who can bless them. This is what the portal brings. Divine orchestration, where life no longer feels like random struggle, but like a guided dance between heaven and earth. And right now, this orchestration is being offered to you. The voice of Archangel Michael echoed again. Tell them to expect sudden change. What took years to build can shift in days once heaven intervenes. Opportunities that were once impossible will start opening effortlessly. People you haven't met yet will become the key to your next breakthrough. This isn't luck, it's divine strategy. But to see it manifest, you must stay spiritually alert. Don't dismiss the small signs. A call, a dream, a sudden idea. These are angelic signals. The moment you respond with faith, you authorize the angels to complete their assignment. Right now, heaven is looking for active faith. Passive belief stays still, but active faith moves. It declares, gives, and acts as if the promise is already fulfilled. That's why every act of faith sends a signal into the heavenly realm. When you choose to engage, you mark yourself as a participant in what God is doing, not just a spectator. And when you do, divine multiplication follows. Before I reveal how to position yourself under this open heaven, let me speak from my heart. If this message has stirred your spirit, don't just listen. Become part of the mission that spreads it. Every time you like, share, comment, and subscribe, you're not just engaging with content. You're amplifying the message of light to those who are lost in darkness. Help us awaken souls who have forgotten heaven's language. And if you feel led to go deeper, to help us carry this fire further, you can support this ministry through Super Thanks, membership, or by sowing a gift through the PayPal link in the description below. Listen, this is not about funding a platform. It's about fueling a movement. Every seed you sow becomes a voice that echoes through eternity. When you give, you partner with heaven in reaching souls that may never hear this truth otherwise. The word says, "He who waters others will himself be watered." As you pour into this mission, God will pour back into you in ways beyond imagination. Don't delay. Act as heaven prompts you. Let your giving become a declaration that you are aligned with the angelic flow of this season. Hold tight now, because the next revelation will show you how Archangel Michael's command activates your personal portal, the moment your destiny begins to overflow with supernatural results. Trust me, you'll thank yourself for staying for what comes next. My precious listener, the very moment Archangel Michael's decree was released, the spiritual realm began to tremble with anticipation. Angels positioned at the four corners of the earth received fresh instructions, and each was assigned to deliver something specific: a restoration, a revelation, a resource, or a relationship. Heaven doesn't send blessings randomly, it delivers them with precision. And as Michael lifted his sword toward the open gate, a stream of golden fire flowed out, symbolizing the wealth of the kingdom. That fire didn't represent money alone. It symbolized favor, divine connections, and supernatural acceleration. Those who have waited the longest are about to move the fastest, because delay in heaven is never denial. It's preparation for double release. The angel spoke again, and his words were carried like thunder through the wind. Tell them that the ones who hear will inherit. The ones who doubt will delay. You see, faith is not passive agreement, it's movement in response to divine sound. When you hear this word and feel that stirring in your heart, that's not emotion, that's your spirit responding to heaven's frequency. Heaven speaks in vibration, not volume. It's not about how loudly the word is spoken, but how deeply it resonates. When you sense that vibration, it means your time has come. You've been marked for manifestation. This is why so many have been restless lately, sensing that something unseen is trying to break through. Archangel Michael revealed that this restlessness is heaven's whisper, urging you to get in position. Some doors open not by force, but by alignment. When you align your thoughts, your words, and your actions with what heaven is declaring, you become unstoppable. The angels don't respond to desperation. They respond to agreement. Agreement is the highest form of faith because it means you trust God's promise even before you see its proof. And what happens next is the beauty of divine exchange. When you align, you attract. Suddenly, things start connecting that didn't before. Resources come from unexpected places. People who once ignored you begin to notice you. The winds of favor begin to move around your life. You'll find yourself walking into rooms you didn't even know existed. Doors you thought were locked will open automatically. Why? Because Archangel Michael's command activated the law of spiritual momentum. Once it begins, no force on earth can stop it. The angelic armies are not coming to fight your enemies anymore. They already did that in the invisible realm. Now, they come to escort you into inheritance. It's not a battle season anymore. It's a receiving season. But here's the catch. If you keep living like you're still in warfare, you'll miss the peace that's been sent. Stop expecting attacks. Start expecting arrival. Heaven is not releasing warnings anymore. It's releasing rewards. You must switch from survival to overflow. And when overflow begins, humility becomes your protection. The higher God lifts you, the softer your heart must become. Never forget that what is flowing through you is not for you alone. It's meant to touch others, to break the cycles of lack and fear in families and nations. The portal is not about getting rich. It's about becoming a vessel of divine impact. Wealth is a weapon in the hands of the righteous, and generosity is how we wield it. Hold on to this next truth, because it's the hinge that connects heaven's release with earth's manifestation, the principle that determines who keeps the blessing and who loses it. What I'm about to reveal next might challenge everything you've believed about divine favor, but it will also unlock a revelation that shifts your entire reality. Stay with me, because the next revelation isn't just deep, it's destiny-defining. My dearest one, listen closely now, because this is where mystery becomes understanding. Archangel Michael revealed that divine favor follows a principle, not an accident. The portal of heaven does not pour out at random. It responds to spiritual posture. You cannot receive divine wealth with a heart bound by fear, comparison, or resentment. The kingdom flow operates through purity of intention. When heaven releases its blessings, it first examines motive. That is why so many people pray for increase, yet see delay. It's not that heaven said no. It's that heaven said not yet. You cannot carry what you are not prepared to protect. And in this hour, the angels are searching not for perfection, but for purity, those whose hearts burn more for purpose than for profit. Archangel Michael's command was never about money alone. It was about alignment. He said, "Tell them the wealth is a sign, not the source." When you make God the source, wealth becomes a byproduct. But when you make wealth the pursuit, the flow dries up. Heaven doesn't just give you resources, it gives you revelation, because true riches are born from insight. That sudden idea you dismissed last week, it may have been a divine seed disguised as a thought. Every great move of God begins as a whisper, something that looks ordinary but carries eternity inside it. This is why discernment is your greatest key in this season. The angel also showed a vision of scales, one side heavy with worry, the other with worship. And as long as worry weighs more, the blessing delays. But when worship outweighs worry, the balance shifts and the portal pours out its abundance. Worship is not a song, it's agreement with heaven's perspective. When you thank God before the miracle manifests, you pull it into existence. The energy of gratitude changes the frequency around you, aligning everything toward divine outcome. Heaven responds to gratitude faster than to complaint. Some of you have been praying for years and wondering, why doors remain closed. But Archangel Michael whispered the secret. The delay is not rejection. It's direction. Every not yet was rerouting you toward the place where your blessing could sustain you. You were never being punished. You were being positioned. The frustration you felt was the tension of divine preparation. Heaven cannot release something through you until it knows you will not lose yourself in what it gives. This is why your waiting season was sacred. It was crafting endurance, humility, and wisdom. And now, those very qualities have positioned you for release. The spiritual gate is open, and the fragrance of breakthrough is in the air. The angels are not waiting for permission anymore. They are waiting for response. The next decision you make, the next word you speak, the next step you take could activate a sequence that changes everything. Heaven is not looking for the loudest believer, but for the most surrendered one. And if you've been wondering whether you've missed your moment, hear this clearly: you haven't. You're right on time, because heaven's calendar never makes mistakes. The next revelation will expose something powerful, the hidden enemy that steals blessings without you realizing it, and the exact way Archangel Michael instructed to silence it forever. What comes next will shake off the last layer of resistance standing between you and your divine inheritance. Stay close now, because the truth that's about to unfold might just be the breakthrough your spirit has been waiting for all along. My beloved seeker, we have now reached the moment where revelation pierces through illusion. Archangel Michael unveiled something most people never recognize. The greatest thief of blessings is not the enemy outside, but the voice within. It is the whisper of doubt that questions what God has already confirmed. This inner resistance, born from fear and memory, silently dismantles the structure of faith. Every time you say, "Maybe it's not for me," you unconsciously close the very portal heaven is trying to open. The angel said, "Tell them that unbelief is the only gate the enemy still controls." And in that sentence lies the secret behind delayed miracles. The spiritual world responds to faith like sound waves respond to music. When you doubt, you change the frequency, and heaven waits until belief returns. Heaven's wealth, favor, and opportunity are like rivers. They never stop flowing, but they flow toward alignment. When you speak faith, you create pathways for those rivers to find you. That's why Scripture says, "Let the weak say I am strong." It's not denial. It's divine language. The kingdom speaks in declaration, not complaint. The angels respond to words of faith because those words authorize them to move. When you speak fear, they stand still, bound by the law of spiritual permission. The moment you shift your words, you shift your world. Archangel Michael called it the law of command. Whatever you consistently declare, you invite. He showed a vision of people surrounded by angels carrying gifts wrapped in light. Yet the angels could not step forward because the people kept speaking words of lack. Every time they said, "I can't," the light around the gifts dimmed. But when they finally said, "I receive," the angels moved instantly. That is how close your breakthrough truly is. One declaration away. You have been waiting for a sign from heaven, but heaven has been waiting for sound from you. It's not a matter of whether God wants to bless you. It's whether you are ready to echo His promise. The portal of wealth that Archangel Michael opened is sensitive to your speech. You can either fuel it with faith or starve it with fear. When you say, "I will walk in divine abundance," you are not boasting, you are aligning. When you declare, "The blessings of heaven rest on my house," you are activating angelic assignment. Words are not mere sounds. They are spiritual signatures that shape reality. That is why the greatest battles are fought in silence, between what you feel and what you confess. The moment your confession outweighs your condition, heaven moves. And Michael's message grew even more intense. He said, "Tell them, their words will either crown them or confine them. Every blessing, every healing, every breakthrough you seek is waiting for a verbal key. That key is in your mouth. When you speak as heaven speaks, you become unstoppable. You cannot declare light and still live in darkness. You cannot prophesy overflow and still walk in emptiness. Heaven always honors the sound of authority, not the noise of anxiety. And in the season, God is restoring your voice of authority. But before we move to the next revelation, take a moment, because what comes next will open your understanding of timing. There's a pattern in how heaven releases blessings, and once you recognize it, you will never miss another divine moment again. Wait for what's coming. This next truth will expose the rhythm of heaven itself and teach you how to move in perfect sync with the flow of angelic favor. My treasured listener, this is the moment where the mystery of timing unfolds. Archangel Michael spoke of something most people overlook, that heaven does not release blessings according to human calendars, but according to divine synchronization. There are windows in time, sacred intersections, when the spiritual and natural worlds overlap. These moments are not random. They are pre-written by God before your birth. When heaven opens a portal, it means that moment of synchronization has arrived. That's why certain seasons of your life feel heavy, uncertain, or restless. They are contractions of destiny, signs that something in the unseen realm is preparing to manifest. Every divine outpouring is preceded by disruption, and if you recognize the pattern, you'll stop fearing the shaking and start welcoming it. Archangel Michael revealed, every blessing has a rhythm, and those who move with it never miss their miracle. He compared it to the tides, waves that come and go not out of randomness, but design. When the tide of heaven rises, those who step and experience acceleration, those who remain still are left watching from the shore. This is why the Spirit keeps stirring your heart even when logic tells you to rest. Heaven is calling you to step in rhythm with its movement. The flow of divine wealth isn't meant to be chased, it's meant to be caught. You catch it through awareness, through sensitivity, through obedience to the slightest whisper of God's instruction. And here's where many falter. They think delay means denial, but delay often means misalignment. Heaven can release something, yet if you're out of rhythm, you miss the timing of its arrival. Imagine rain falling, but your vessel turned upside down. That's how many miss the flow. Archangel Michael said, "Tell them to stay still long enough to hear heaven's pulse." When you learn to discern that pulse, you'll know when to move, when to rest, and when to speak. That's divine timing, not your plan, but God's pulse working through you. The angel showed a vision, a great golden clock suspended in the sky, its gears moving in patterns of light. Each turn represented a season of release. Some gears turned slowly, others rapidly, but all moved in harmony. Michael explained, when you resist impatience, you align with this clock. When you rush ahead, you step outside its rhythm. That's why patience is not weakness. It's power under control. It's the proof that you trust heaven's clock more than human schedules. And when you do, the right opportunities meet you without striving. Divine alignment replaces exhaustion with ease. So if you've been feeling like nothing is happening, take courage. Something is happening behind the veil. Heaven never stops moving. It's aligning people, timing, and circumstances for your release. The delay you're enduring might just be the final adjustment before your overflow appears. Michael said, "Tell them, when it looks the quietest, heaven is working the hardest. And when the silence breaks, It will not be a drizzle of blessing. It will be a downpour. Now, what I'm about to share next is one of the most life-changing revelations Archangel Michael released, the principle that multiplies blessings once they begin to flow. Many receive, but few retain. Many start, but few sustain. The next message will show you how to keep the portal open so that divine favor doesn't visit once, but abides permanently in your life. Trust me, this next revelation is the bridge between one-time miracles and lifelong abundance. Stay with me, because what's coming next could transform your entire spiritual atmosphere. My divine friend, what I share with you now is the heart of the revelation, the secret of sustaining the flow once the portal of heaven opens. Archangel Michael said, "Many receive the first wave but lose the current because they forget the purpose of the blessing." The greatest danger after breakthrough is spiritual forgetfulness. When God opens heaven, He doesn't only intend to fill your hands, He intends to transform your habits. Sustaining the blessing requires the same faith that received it. The moment you start to depend on the blessing instead of the blesser, the flow begins to slow. But when gratitude becomes your lifestyle, heaven never stops releasing. Gratitude is the oil that keeps the gates of favor turning. The angel showed a powerful vision, a golden river flowing through people's lives. Some tried to collect it, to store it, to possess it, but the more they held it, the faster it dried. Others began to share it, to pour into others, and the more they gave, the wider the river grew. Michael said, "The flow follows generosity. The ones who give from a place of joy attract more than they release." This is not a transaction. It's a reflection of divine law. Heaven's economy works through circulation, not accumulation. When you become a channel, you never run dry. Heavenly wealth is designed to serve purpose, not pride. God's abundance isn't meant to build thrones for individuals, but altars of impact for generations. The blessings that are now being released through this portal carry assignment to fund light, to lift the broken, to expand the kingdom's voice in dark places. The reason you are being entrusted with this season of favor is because you are chosen to be a distributor of grace. Michael's words were clear. Those who hold will have limits, but those who release will reign. The ones who use their abundance to heal and restore will become unstoppable, for heaven keeps filling the vessels that keep pouring. And right now, as you listen, something sacred is happening in the unseen. Angels are marking those whose hearts are open, whose hands are ready, and whose faith is active. The portal remains open, but it seeks partnership. Heaven is searching for givers, not takers, for those who will multiply the message of light, not hide it. The more you amplify God's voice, the more His hand amplifies you. That's why this message found you, because heaven intends to make you part of its plan. Before we move into the next revelation, where I'll show how the final stage of this release brings divine protection over everything you've received, let me speak to you from my spirit. If this message has touched you, if you felt heaven's whisper in these words, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and comment to spread this light to someone who may be standing on the edge of despair right now. Let your action become ministry, a spark that ignites another soul. And if you feel led to go deeper, to become part of this heavenly assignment, you can support this work through Super Thanks, channel membership, or the PayPal link in the description below. Remember, you're not just supporting content. You're sowing into a divine movement that carries the voice of heaven to every corner of the earth. Every gift you give becomes a seed that opens another heart to God's presence. When you sow, you participate in the miracle. The word says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." This is not about donation. It's about declaration. Declare with your giving that you are part of heaven's divine economy, part of this great river of light. Get ready, because the next revelation will unveil something even more powerful. How heaven seals and protects the blessings once they're released, ensuring no force of darkness can reverse what God has ordained. The next part will show you how to walk in lasting favor, covered by the authority of Archangel Michael himself. Stay close. What's coming is sacred. My faithful listener, the moment heaven's portal releases its blessings, the atmosphere around you begins to shift in ways both seen and unseen. Archangel Michael revealed that with every wave of divine wealth, there also comes a counter-movement from the forces of resistance. Whenever heaven opens, darkness tries to imitate or interrupt. But here is the truth that should anchor your soul. Nothing the enemy does can override what heaven has already sealed. Michael said, "Tell them that once the seal of light is placed upon their portion, no shadow can erase it." The seal is not visible to the human eye, yet in the spirit, it burns like fire. It is the signature of divine ownership. Whatever bears that mark cannot be stolen. However, the angel also explained that protection is maintained through awareness. Just as gates must be guarded, blessings must be maintained through spiritual vigilance. The enemy cannot touch what is protected, but he can distract the one who holds it. Distraction is his weapon. He diverts attention from gratitude to anxiety, from purpose to possession, and once your focus shifts, your energy drains. That is why Michael emphasized, stay awake in spirit, for your awareness is your armor. You are not meant to live in fear, but in discernment. When you guard your peace, you guard your portion. Heavenly wealth carries light, and light always attracts movement. People, opportunities, and even unseen energies begin to draw toward you when the portal opens. But with attraction comes discernment. Not every open door is divine. Not every opportunity is heaven-sent. Archangel Michael said, "Those who move too fast after receiving will misstep. Those who move in prayer will prosper." That is why you must pause before making decisions. The presence of abundance doesn't mean absence of wisdom. When God blesses you, He expects you to steward that blessing like a priest, not spend it like a tourist. Every resource He entrusts to you has a kingdom assignment hidden within it. Michael showed a vision of an ancient chest covered in golden light. Inside it were scrolls, each bearing names, not of things, but of people. He said, every blessing heaven releases is connected to another soul. In other words, what you receive is not only for you. It is designed to flow through you to someone else's deliverance. If you keep the blessing to yourself, it begins to lose its glow. But when you release it, its brilliance multiplies. This is how the kingdom expands, not through hoarding, but through holy circulation. The angel continued, "Tell them that the ones who give light will always walk in light." This means every time you use your blessing to uplift, to heal, to encourage, you are reinforcing the seal over your life. Darkness cannot touch what keeps shining. The more you share the light, the stronger your protection becomes. You create an environment where miracles repeat themselves, where divine favor does not expire but evolves. And now, as the flow continues, Archangel Michael prepares to reveal the final and most sacred mystery: how heaven rewards those who partner in divine purpose, and how the final wave of this portal transforms your atmosphere permanently. What's coming next is not just revelation, it's activation. It will explain how your life becomes the portal itself, where blessings no longer visit but dwell. Stay close. This next moment will define your spiritual legacy forever. My beloved listener, now we step into the holiest layer of this divine revelation, the moment where heaven no longer just opens above you, but begins to dwell within you. Archangel Michael revealed that the ultimate goal of this portal is not to make you a receiver of blessings, but a carrier of them. When you become one with the rhythm of divine flow, you stop depending on visitation and start living in habitation. The angel's voice grew radiant as he said, "Tell them the greatest wealth is to become the dwelling place of God's abundance. What heaven releases around you must eventually take residence inside you." The open heaven was never meant to stay in the sky. It was meant to move into your spirit. Michael showed a vision of a person standing under a rain of golden light. As the rain continued, it stopped falling on them and began to rise from within them. He said, "That is the transformation, when the external portal becomes an internal spring." This is what Jesus meant when he said that living waters would flow from within those who believe. Divine abundance is not something you chase. It is something you carry. When the spirit of wealth dwells within you, everything you touch begins to multiply. Ideas turn into resources, prayers turn into strategies, and obstacles turn into opportunities. This is the dimension where miracles become normal and scarcity becomes impossible. But there is a sacred condition for maintaining this state: humility. Archangel Michael warned, "Those who forget the source lose the flow." The more heaven fills you, the more you must bow. Power is preserved through purity. Wealth is sustained through worship. The moment pride whispers, the river slows. This is why some people experience an initial overflow that later fades, not because heaven withdrew it, but because they stopped remaining anchored in gratitude. You must remember that abundance is a trust, not a trophy. The higher God lifts you, the deeper your roots in humility must grow. Heavenly abundance is not noisy, it is peaceful. The truly blessed do not boast. They radiate quiet authority. Their presence calms storms because they carry heaven's stillness inside. Archangel Michael said, "Tell them that true prosperity sounds like peace." The angels of provision are drawn not to striving, but to serenity. When you remain calm and thankful even when circumstances shake, you mirror heaven's nature. And heaven always recognizes itself. This is how you maintain an unbroken flow, by living in constant awareness that God Himself is your treasure. This revelation changes everything. You no longer ask, "When will the blessing come?" Instead, you declare, "The blessing lives in me." You no longer chase signs. You become the sign. Your life becomes proof that heaven can dwell on earth through one willing heart. And when others encounter you, they will feel what you now carry: the presence of divine abundance, peace, and authority. This is how transformation spreads, from vessel to vessel, from light to light. Now, prepare your spirit, because the next revelation is beyond everything you've heard so far. Archangel Michael will unveil the prophecy of the final wave, a release so powerful that it seals your destiny, your family, and your future generations under an unending covenant of favor. What comes next will not just inspire you, it will awaken the eternal fire within you. Stay close. You are standing at the threshold of divine permanence. My sacred listener, we now approach the final unfolding, the revelation that ties every mystery together. Archangel Michael spoke of what he called the final wave of covenant. This wave is not a passing event. It is a divine seal that turns temporary blessings into generational abundance. He said, "Tell them that what begins as a moment can become a movement if they remain faithful." This is the season when heaven is not just blessing individuals, but building legacies. The portal that has opened over your life is not designed to end with you. It is meant to extend through your lineage, shaping destinies that haven't yet been born. The angels assigned to you are already inscribing your family name into the archives of divine inheritance. What you embrace in faith today will echo through the decades ahead. Michael revealed a vision of radiant threads stretching through time. golden lines weaving together people, prayers, and promises. He said, "Every act of obedience you make ties another thread into this eternal design." That means nothing you've done in faith has been forgotten. Every prayer, every seed, every tear, every act of surrender has contributed to this divine tapestry. Heaven measures time differently. What you thought was lost has only been stored, waiting for this exact season to reappear, multiply. The final wave does not only restore, it redeems. It turns years of waiting into rivers of overflowing fulfillment. But the angel also spoke with gravity. Those who stop at blessing will miss the covenant, he warned. This means the portal's purpose goes beyond material prosperity. It calls you into partnership, a lifelong agreement between your spirit and heaven's will. A covenant is not a contract you sign. It's a posture you live in. It means walking in constant awareness that everything you have belongs to the divine. When you live like that, the flow never ends. God entrusts more to the one who refuses to forget who it came from. This is the secret of lasting favor. Ownership belongs to heaven. Stewardship belongs to you. And then, with a voice that felt like lightning clothed in peace, Michael declared, "The ones who honor the covenant will command the impossible." What does that mean? It means your prayers will begin to manifest with unusual speed. It means protection will surround your steps. It means divine insight will become your compass in every decision. You will no longer chase provision. Provision will locate you. Your very presence will become a magnet for opportunity because heaven recognizes you as a partner, not just a petitioner. So as this revelation settles in your heart, take a moment to realize what's truly happening. Heaven is entrusting you with legacy. You are not the end of a promise. You are the beginning of one. Your faith is activating blessings that will ripple through generations. The light of this portal will rest upon your name and will not fade. But there is one more mystery, the final activation, the spoken declaration that seals everything you've heard into reality. It is the moment when heaven's decree becomes earth's manifestation. The next and final revelation will not just conclude this message, it will ignite it within you forever. What's coming is sacred, final, and eternal. Wait for it. The next words you hear may very well be the sound of heaven confirming your destiny. My radiant companion in faith, the moment Archangel Michael's words, "It is done," echoed through the unseen realm. Something extraordinary began to unfold. The portal that once shimmered above your life did not vanish. It expanded. Heaven, now dwelling within you, began to radiate outward, touching everything you come into contact with. You have become the conduit, the living extension of the open heaven. The air around you feels lighter, the atmosphere charged with divine awareness. Wherever you walk, angels follow. Wherever you speak, light answers. You are no longer praying for transformation. You are becoming it. Archangel Michael revealed at this stage, the expansion phase, is when those marked by heaven start influencing environments. You'll notice how conversations shift when you enter the room, how tension dissolves when you speak peace, how unexpected favor greets you where there once was resistance. The angel said, "Tell them their presence will now speak louder than their prayers." You are a walking decree. This means you no longer have to strive for recognition or opportunity. Divine attraction has been activated. The same heaven that once pursued you now flows through you, drawing others to its warmth. But this level of glory requires stewardship. Michael cautioned, when light expands, shadows will notice. This is not to create fear, but awareness. As your influence increases, some around you may not understand the change. The same light that draws the hungry also exposes the hidden. Stay grounded in grace. Remember, the purpose of power is always love. Use your elevation to lift others, not to prove yourself. The mark of those truly anointed by heaven is humility wrapped in strength. The angels guard those who remain gentle even when made great. The angel showed a vision of golden seeds falling from the sky, each glowing like embers. He said, "These are ideas, fragments of heaven's intelligence. The chosen will recognize them as thoughts. This is how heaven now communicates with you. Inspiration, insight, sudden solutions, these are angelic deposits. Do not dismiss them. Write them, act on them, release them. Each one is a seed of prosperity, designed not only to bless you, but to build systems of light on earth. When heaven trusts you with revelation, it is giving you keys to influence culture, business, and creation itself. And in this season, God is releasing what Michael called the anointing of effortless multiplication. It means what once took years will now happen in months. Delayed visions will suddenly bloom. Lost opportunities will return in double strength. Heaven has accelerated your destiny because the time for impact has come. The portal is no longer about personal blessing. It is about collective awakening. Now stay with me, because the next revelation unveils something even greater. How heaven appoints new angels to those who carry the flow, assigning guardians not just to protect, but to amplify. What's coming next will reveal how to walk in divine expansion without limit. Trust me, this next moment will redefine what it means to live under open heaven. My blessed companion, the moment you stepped into this realm of divine expansion, Archangel Michael summoned new angelic orders around your life, not to replace the ones already guarding you, but to multiply your reach. He called them amplifiers of light. Their wings shimmered like crystal mirrors, each reflecting the brilliance of heaven's throne. Michael said, "Tell them, these are not messengers of warning, but carriers of increase. Their purpose is to magnify what God has placed within you. Every word of faith you speak now echoes louder. Every act of love reaches farther, and every seed of generosity multiplies beyond human sight. You are not walking alone. You are surrounded by divine reinforcements." Michael explained that these amplifiers respond only to alignment. They move where gratitude and obedience flow. The moment you complain, they stand still, but when you speak words of faith, they surge forward like lightning. He said, "They do not work through emotion, but through command." This means your authority is no longer passive. It's active. When you declare peace over your home, they establish it. When you proclaim abundance over your work, they unlock it. When you release forgiveness, they cleanse the atmosphere around you. You are now operating at a level where your voice carries heavenly weight. Your words shape the unseen. But with this power comes deep responsibility. The amplifiers do not respond to confusion. They respond to clarity. You must know what you want heaven to manifest through you. Michael said, "Undefined prayers create undefined results." In this season, precision will determine power. Be specific in what you decree. Speak life over exact situations, people, and places. The more intentional you are, the more intensely the angels will act. Heaven is not moved by emotion. It is moved by alignment with divine purpose. The angel then revealed a stunning image, a gold map unfurling across the earth. On it, small sparks appeared wherever a soul carried the portal within. Each spark began to expand until entire regions glowed. Michael said, "This is how heaven conquers darkness, not through one voice, but through many flames united in light. You are one of those flames. Every time you share truth, speak faith, and walk in love, the glow whitens. This is how revival spreads, not as noise, but as radiant presence. Archangel Michael concluded, "The amplifiers do not create the light, they magnify what already burns." That means as you grow in purity, prayer, and purpose, their influence over your life increases. Heaven is not testing you now, it's trusting you. And the more you walk in obedience, the more the unseen world bends in your favor. You are entering days when manifestations will appear with breathtaking speed, prayers answered before they are fully spoken, needs met before they are noticed. But before we move to the next revelation, prepare yourself for what comes next. For Michael's prophecy of the mantle of dominion, the next stage where heaven not only blesses your path, but gives you authority to create paths for others. Stay here, because what you'll hear next could awaken the leader, the healer, and the world changer inside you. My dearest listener, the moment the amplifiers of light began to circle you, a new vibration was born in the spirit realm, a sound of commissioning. Archangel Michael raised his sword toward the heavens, and the light around him grew fierce as he declared, "Now they are ready for the mantle of dominion." These words were not symbolic, they were spiritual law. Dominion does not mean control over others, it means authority over circumstances. It is heaven's permission for you to reign over the chaos that once reigned over you. Every storm that used to shake you will now serve you. Every delay that once frustrated you will now accelerate your purpose. Michael said, "Tell them, what once resisted them will now recognize them." That is the shift. You are no longer pleading for change. You are commanding it. This mantle is not given through effort, but through surrender. Dominion flows not from force, but from stillness. The more you rest in faith, the louder your authority becomes in the unseen. Michael showed a vision, a calm ocean with waves that bowed in perfect rhythm to a radiant light hovering above it. He said, "This is what happens when a soul walks in alignment. Even the elements obey." You are entering a stage where peace becomes your weapon. When you stop reacting and start decreeing, heaven begins to echo your words. You will see mountains move not because you fought harder, but because you spoke from the place of divine rest. This is the essence of dominion, effortless authority. You no longer chase solutions, you embody them. You walk into chaos and it resolves. You speak over confusion and it clears. You don't have to prove who you are. Creation already knows. The same heaven that filled your spirit is now shaping your surroundings. This is the realm where faith stops being belief and becomes atmosphere. You don't just carry light, you become the environment of miracles. But Archangel Michael gave a sacred warning with this release. Never forget that dominion without compassion becomes domination. Power without love turns pure light into shadow. Heaven only trusts authority that heals, not harms. Use your influence to elevate, not to exalt yourself. When you lift others, you prove to heaven that your heart still beats in rhythm with its purpose. This is how you stay trusted, through tenderness. The stronger the current, the softer the spirit must become. Michael showed another image. You, standing at a mountain's peak as rivers of light streamed down in every direction. Each river carried a reflection of faces, people whose destinies are tied to yours. He said, "Your dominion is not personal, it's generational. When you rise, they rise. Every victory you experience sends ripples through lives you may never meet." That is why this season demands courage. The angels are not just fighting for you anymore. They're fighting for those connected to your light. And yet, there is one final revelation to come. The closing of this celestial chapter. The moment where heaven's decree becomes an eternal covenant. The next message will not just end this story. It will seal it. It will reveal how to walk forever under open heaven, how to turn this experience into a lifetime of divine partnership. Stay with me, because the final revelation is not just conclusion. It is coronation. My beloved child of light, this is the final unveiling, the moment heaven crowns your obedience with permanence. Archangel Michael's presence fills the heavens like a sunrise over eternity. His sword, once blazing with the fire of battle, now rests in peace, a symbol that your war has been won. He speaks softly, yet his words resound through all creation. The covenant is sealed. And as he declares this, the same light that once poured toward you now begins to radiate from you. You have become the dwelling place of divine flow, the living portal through which heaven touches earth. Michael said, "Tell them they are no longer waiting for visitation. They are walking in habitation. The angels that once surrounded you now move through you. When you speak, heaven listens. When you act, heaven responds. The veil between realms has grown thin around your life because you have chosen alignment over fear. This is the realm of divine partnership, where your dreams become God's strategies, your steps become angelic assignments, and your life becomes a living prophecy. The divine current no longer visits in waves. It flows like a river without end. Heaven's purpose was never just to bless you. It was to transform you into a blessing. You are now the evidence that the light of God can live inside a human vessel and never fade. Every action you take carries eternal consequence. Your words heal, your presence restores, your faith multiplies. Michael's final decree is both a command and a promise. Guard the flame, for through you, heaven continues its work. And as he ascends, the sound of wings fades into a silence filled with power, not absence, but completion. This is your new reality. You are heaven's echo on earth. You will never walk alone again. Angels now move beside you in perfect harmony with your destiny. The wealth released through this portal will not only sustain you, it will establish others. The blessings will not end with you. They will overflow into generations unborn. This is the eternal covenant of light, unending provision, unstoppable peace, and unbreakable protection. Walk boldly, for you are not chasing miracles anymore. You are one. Now, my friend, before this revelation closes, I speak from my heart to yours. If this message has stirred your spirit, if you felt the warmth of heaven's breath through these words, then I invite you to stand with us in this divine movement. Like, share, comment, and subscribe so that this message of light can reach every soul still wandering in darkness. Let your engagement become ministry. And if you feel led to sow into this mission, to partner with heaven in spreading God's word, you can do so through super thanks, channel membership, or the PayPal link in the description below. Hear me clearly. This is not about donation. It is about divine participation. Every seed you plant becomes a spark that ignites another heart. Each act of support turns into a stream of living light that carries hope across nations. The word declares, "He who sows bountifully shall also reap bountifully." As you give, may the windows of heaven remain open over your life, pouring out blessings beyond measure. May angels visit your home, may divine ideas multiply in your mind, and may your heart overflow with peace that cannot be shaken. You are part of something eternal now. The portal remains open, the covenant sealed, and your destiny forever written in light. Heaven has moved, and it moved through you.